Every one of us loves to buy, but we hate to be sold. We love to buy, but we absolutely hate to be sold. As a result of that, as buyers, I'm a buyer, you're a buyer, he's a buyer, she's a buyer. Wouldn't you like to be a buyer too? Not necessary. We're all buyers. We all buy things. We love to buy, but we hate to be sold. As a result of hating to be sold, there are a few things that we have done as self-defense mechanisms that we have built to protect ourselves when we feel like somebody is trying to sell us. These four things in order, not necessarily in order, but they are: number one, we lie. When we feel like somebody is trying to sell us, we lie. It's a self-defense mechanism. Maybe we're not ready to buy yet, but we're getting hammered, so we start lying. For example, when I went into Best Buy years ago to buy a computer, I already knew what computer I wanted to buy. I'd done the research, which we can totally do today thanks to the internet. We have so much information. I'd already done the research. I knew which computer I wanted to buy. I get to the Best Buy, walk through those doors, they open up. Now keep in mind, I knew what I wanted and I had cash in my pocket. I walk through the doors and the person that's there behind that lectern, they're like, "Hello, sir, welcome to Best Buy. Can we help you find something?" And I was like, no, just looking. I lied, right? I straight up, oh, it's a little white lie. Still, it's a lie because I didn't want to engage with them. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I wanted. I'm heading back to the electronics department, which is in the back of the Best Buy. I'm on my way back there, and here comes somebody else out of one of the aisles with the blue shirt and little yellow name tag. "Hi, sir, can I help you find something?" "Nope, just looking." Bam, lie number two. I get to the back of the store and I'm looking and I find the laptop that I found online. I was like, there she is. I'm checking her out, looking at her stats, looking her up and down. I'm like, yeah, that's her. And then guess what? I was ready to buy. And so what did I do? Pop my head up. I'm like, hello, hello. And there was nobody around. Of course, nobody around. But then somebody came and helped me and I bought because I was ready to buy at that point. But up until that point, I wasn't ready. So I just straight up lied. We do it all the time. We love to buy, but we hate to be sold. So the first thing we do is we lie to salespeople when we feel like they're trying to sell us. And to be fair, that's okay because they're just salespeople, right? They're not actual humans. Haha, no, they're humans, but we lie to defend ourselves because we don't want to be sold. The second thing that we do to protect ourselves is we get information. We want to get as much information as we possibly can from these other companies that are trying to sell to us. And because of technology, we have the ability, again, to get tons of information, but proposals are wonderful, and picking somebody's brain, an expert to get information from them, their intellectual property without having to pay for it. Oh, that is wonderful. I was at a networking event years ago where they did these small companies had an opportunity to do a quick pitch. And then they would field questions and answers from the audience. Anyway, end of the networking event, I skipped out a couple minutes early. I'm standing there at the elevator and this lady comes around the corner and I had chatted with her prior in the meeting. She comes around the corner and she's going to the elevator and she stands there. She goes, "Hey, you're that sales coach, right?" I said, "Yeah, Theophon, nice to meet you. What was your name?" And she introduced herself and she says, "Hey, I got a question for you. What would you say is the biggest challenge that salespeople have?" And I said, "Oh, okay, that's easy. They talk too much." She sat there for a second. She's like, yeah, you're right. I get that. Ding, the doors open up. She says, "Hey, I've got this thing I want to talk to you about, this challenge I'm having in my business." And we step into the elevator and on the way down, she's sharing her problem with me. It only took her a minute and the doors open, ding, and we step out into the lobby of this building. And she says, "Well, so what do you think I should do?" So she was wanting to get my intellectual property, my information, sales information around how to help her solve her problem. But I've been doing this a long time and I knew what she was doing. She's a buyer. She didn't want to be sold, but she wanted to get information from me on the cheap. I said to her, "That's a really great question, but honestly, it's going to take more than the 2 or 3 minutes that we're going to stand in the lobby for me to really answer that and get into it. I'd love to grab a cup of coffee with you sometime." And you know what she said to me? She goes, oh, you want me to pay for that information? Okay, so yeah, first of all, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I kind of would like you to pay for that information. But what I said out loud was, well, no, I was actually saying, why don't we get coffee? We can just kind of chat. And yeah, we could talk about this a little bit as well. And I'd given her my card and she had given me her card. And she said, and this is the third thing that buyers do, and she said, well, I've got your card. I'll give you a call when I'm ready. And she walked out of the building. So the third thing that buyers do to protect themselves when they feel like they're being sold is commit to nothing. Commit to nothing. So she tried to get information, but I was like, oh no, I know that old game. Denied. I blocked her. And then when I offered to get together with her for coffee, she did the third thing. She committed to nothing. She was like, I've got your info. I'll give you a call when I'm ready. And she was out. Well, I've done this before. This wasn't my first rodeo. So on my way out of the building behind her, guess what I did with her business card? Dropped it in the trash next to the door on the way out. Because I'm not interested ever in doing the fourth thing that buyers do to protect themselves when they feel like salespeople are trying to sell them. Hide. I knew if I tried to reach out to her, she was just going to assume that I was trying to sell her and she was going to ghost me. She was going to hide. That's fair. All four things are fair. And I don't blame her or the employees at Best Buy for any of them, because well, hopefully they don't blame me for what I was doing. I knew they were just trying to do their job, right? But I don't blame buyers for doing what they do to protect themselves when they feel like somebody's trying to sell them, because I do it too. And it's okay. It's okay. We're so used to, burnt out on, grossed out on by the traditional selling tactics that salespeople use to try to sell, that it's okay that we've built these self-defense mechanisms to protect ourselves. So the four things are: we lie, not just buyers, but we lie, we get information, we commit to nothing, and we hide. Those are the four things that buyers do to protect themselves when they feel like somebody is trying to sell them. So the goal here is, when selling, to never come off as salesy. Throw those traditional sales tactics and techniques out the window and find something better.